Hey everybody, how's everyone doing? Hope you're doing well. Today's Thursday. Happy Thursday. So yeah, almost the weekend coming up soon. So today we are going to be talking about robotic mowers. I often, when I go live, like to talk about some new tools that are released for the week. And it just seems like as we're starting to get into Christmas right now, that a lot of the tools, like having the Equip Expo a couple weeks, last month, that was a time where you might see some new tools. So now it seems like it's going to be a little bit slow. So I have a chance to get caught up with some robotic mowers, and I have Vince Manners as a guest. He's the Lawngineer. And hey, Franco, hey, the tool show's here. All right. And yeah, so we're going to be talking about robotic mowers. So Vince, I'm going to introduce him in just a second. We're going to go through and just look at robotic mowers. I think they've come a long way, and Vince has experience with, I think, at least two of them, one for sure that I know of. So we're going to bring him on here. So I guess it's time to get started, and let's welcome Vince. Hey Vince, how you doing? Can we hear you okay?
Hey Mark, I'm good. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes. Yep.
Good.
So I haven't ever had a guest on the show yet. So I have done a couple of trial runs in a private mode. So I'm just glad that everything seemed to work out. I had some problems. My sons were like my son Sawyer, who you met last year, he was up at Michigan Tech. So I actually just texted him randomly and he joined. So we actually had four of us, my three boys and myself. So,
all right.
Yeah. So I was wondering your story, you're an engineer and you're into lawns. I'm wondering, like, so your name, the Lawngineer would probably explain a little bit about what you're doing or who you are.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So yeah, I am a professional engineer. I work mostly in the stormwater management field, water resources, basically. I also provide quality drinking water to folks and make sure that their business has a place to go in the sewers. So I do a lot of that work, infrastructure work, mostly in the city of Philadelphia. But my passion has been lawn care for the past several years, actually ever since I started owning a home. And as of 2020, I started a YouTube channel more just to help others and answer some of the questions that I was getting from my neighbors who would stop by and take the time to talk to me about the lawn. So I said, you know what, let me start up a channel to help others and educate others on what I know about lawn care. So yeah. The Lawngineer.
Okay, so we met through the Echo Means Business program. So what year? So I've been with them, I think, since 2017. That's when it originally started. And so I forget what year you started. I know COVID, it's probably right after COVID, maybe.
We're just wrapping up my second year with the UAG group. So I'll be going into the third year next year.
Okay. So did that help you meet more people and develop more content and this your social media
for sure.
presence?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think so. we're very active with the UAG group. We create content specifically for them, and then also have a chance to showcase maybe some of the equipment on my own channel and my own pages. So
Mm-hmm.
it's been a great help, and I think in general has been great to be around, learning a lot from others like yourself too, Mark, and some of the others in the group. Sharing knowledge. It's all about learning.
I appreciate that. So I have some new controls here. So if you happen to go too long, we have this noise. Can you hear that?
I can hear it.
No, we're not going to use that. But anyways, I found some sound effects, and that was kind of a fun one to play around with. So with the lawns right now, we'll get to the robots here in just a second. So you're in New Jersey right now? That's where you live.
That's
in
correct.
New Jersey.
Yep.
So have you wrapped up everything with your lawn? Are you doing any
We're still mowing. We've had a weird summer where it was really it was dry for a period, and it got really hot towards the end, and then all of a sudden, fall came and it was cold, and now we're deep into the fall and it's now warm again. It was almost like 70 degrees today.
Oh, wow.
So it's been a wild range of temperatures. But I think in the next couple of weeks here, things are going to start going dormant. I would think that maybe by around Thanksgiving, we'll start wrapping up. But you have all the crews out there now doing leaf cleanups and stuff like that at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. In Michigan, we just have had just a lot of rain and stuff, and most of the leaves are down. So I'm trying right now I would actually really enjoy having a 70-degree day, which we don't have yet. It's been a while. So wanting to but I'll still go out there with all the bundled up. But yeah, I have one more time to go and get the leaves either vacuumed up or to just mulch them up. So that's where we're at. So,
right.
Well, see, how about let's see, I'm just going to see if there's any other comments. So how about we get into, I have a little presentation with a little video, and let me go to that, and we'll see a little bit. Well, just be a little easier if I do this. Show you instead of trying to explain it. All right. So okay. The Crest part is going to be, it's a sneak peek of what's going to be here later in just a few minutes. So, all right. So before you joined the Echo UAG, I think it was in 2019, they featured this mower right here, this robotic mower. And that was a new partnership that they had. And I believe that part of the business, I think it was somewhere in Germany, and it's been developed there and it launched, and it's been successful, but coming to the States here, it's been kind of slow to adapt to us. And in 2019, at the time, their technology was that you'd have to put a wire down in the ground. And I'm not sure how it worked if you have zones like a tree, if you put a wire, I was never really familiar with how that works, but there's a lot of upfront work to be able to run that type of mower. And what we're going to see in this 2-minute video clip coming up, let's see. So this clip right here he's going to explain a little bit. This was at Echo's, let's see, it was the end of September, I believe. All the UAG, most of us were there, and they launched several new tools, I think 18 different ones. So this is a new look at the robotic mower. So I'm going to just go ahead and play it.
Looks like there's no sound.
Okay, I muted myself. All right, let's try. Can somebody tell me a thumbs up? I'm going to just start the video one more time. And if that doesn't work, then I guess we'll just have to move forward and roll with it. But as far as I know, it should be working. Let's see.
So what we have here, and yes, this is real life, live. There's no wire in the ground. This is operating solely on remote control in that building. No, I'm kidding. So that little box up there, this is telling that what to do. So you've seen the random, it just bounces around. That's pretty good. So we have that exact same unit in a random pattern. Maxes out about 6 acres. Any guesses about what that maxes out at? 10. Give me double. Give me double down.
12.
About 12 to 15 acres that will do now with the RTK technology. Why is that? Because you know exactly where it's going. It knows exactly where it's going. It's very efficient. So we've optimized the efficiency with the unit. Same technology. It's cutting very, very, very little bits off the grass. This fancy little box makes it inch accuracy. Inch. So what that allows it to do is drive in a straight line and do a very slight overlap. When this thing is driving, it's making thousands of calculations a minute just to make sure that it's going straight. It knows it's heading because of the little box. If you have an obstacle, like a tree, you can put no-go zones around there. Boundaries where it will not go. Now it's running right now, whether you believe it or not. This is as loud as this gets. I am super loud. This is really quiet. But what happens if it's something lower than the bumper? Get my foot underneath there, lift it up a little bit. Cutting heads instantly shut off. Now it's going to try to figure out, okay, why did that happen? All right, well, it must have been just something small. It's going to go back to work. So, how do you maintain a robot? Robot, maintain yourself. Lift it up, step 1. Step 2, take your blower. Blow off the little grass clippings that have collected. Then what I do, after everything's blown off, I make sure everything's just moving, right?
Yeah, so that was interesting as I was bringing that video in. Let me go to the next. Oh, shoot. Yeah, so it's interesting when I brought that video in, I thought that the thing was just driving around. I didn't actually realize that it was mowing. It's that quiet. It just sounds like when you have a battery powered push mower and you don't have the blades engaged, but you're just pushing it around. That's what I noticed with this mower right here. It was just blowing my mind when I'm listening to him saying, yeah, it's actually mowing. And you're expecting to, or what I'm expecting to see, because I'm newer to robotic mowers, is that it's going to, like when I mow like my house, I don't go out there as often as I should. So you see like the grass is this tall. When I'm cutting it, it's like way down there. So I'm taking probably like a couple inches off. So where this is going like all the time. So you don't see that difference when it go like right next to it. I don't see it at least, but you might. We'll talk. I'll ask you about that a little bit in a second, Vince. Let's see. I just wanted to, yeah, for some reason, yeah, sorry, just gonna pull this. All right, let me. So yeah, part of that's cut off, but so we're talking about the efficiency, the safety, and the accuracy. So with Echo, they were like a 1 inch. So I was quite amazed when he was saying as soon as it hits his foot, it stops for a second, but when he lifts it up, the blades like stop immediately. So
Right. Yeah. A lot of them have like lift sensors and tilt sensors inside. So if it's mowing at say too steep of an angle, it will trigger a tilt sensor and it will stop mowing. And then there's also lift sensors like on the wheels and stuff like that. Like if you were to lift it up, it's going to trigger a lift sensor and then stop mowing. Um, and then it's got some of them also have bumpers to trigger if it senses an obstacle by bumping up against something like a tree. And now, even today, now some of them have more of like optical sensors that can detect and see objects and identify objects and then maneuver around them.
huh.
More to be a little bit more efficient. Like if you were to use the bumper as your obstacle avoidance system, right? There's a delay. Whereas you bump up against something, the mower stops, it thinks, it backs up, it turns, and then it moves around. Where the optical systems are seeing it more in real time and it can react sooner and navigate around that object and have a faster mowing time.
Huh. So the obstacle has some type of depth control in it.
Yes, yeah, similar to like the sensors on a car, like a parking sensor, is very similar to that.
Hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah, I never really thought about that. Yeah, that's pretty amazing just to see how things are advancing there. All right, so I just fixed that screen, so I appreciate when you're talking. Give me a chance to recenter this. And I've got another quick little video clip. So Crest, I was able to check out their mowers when I was at the Equip Expo, and I have never tested any Crest products. I have tested some of the Positech brand, which is the parent company for like Works and Rockwell and Cat. So recently I've tested a Cat blower, and Vince, you've tested a Crest, the same blower. It's basically the same thing. Somehow
Yeah, that's right.
yours has like 850 CFM.
850, yep.
Yeah. So have you tested any other Crest products?
Only at Equip. Nothing that I have. The only thing that I own is just the blower, the one handheld blower. But I got to test out the mower at Equip and some of the string trimmers and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And I did not see the robotic mower though. I didn't get over to see that.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So I have a little clip I'll play here in a second. So before I do, I just want to ask, so do you have a Crest dealer nearby? Did you get yours like online or?
So I'm really good friends with the folks over at Yard Mastery, which is more of like a do-it-yourself lawn care company that provides things like fertilizers and stuff like that. And now they are a Crest dealer. They are nowhere near me. They are in Florida, but I just, have good relationships with them down there. I said, you know what? When you get this blower, I'd like to buy it from you guys. And they shipped it up to me. I probably could have gotten something from a little bit closer, but I thought, I just stick with my friends down there.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a local dealer. They have Ferris and Steel, Toro, I believe. And I was in there getting something for one of my mowers. I think it was, this summer. And that was when I first saw Crest there. I don't go into that dealership as often, but that was the very first experience that I've noticed Crest. And then I just started seeing like the blower review that you did or mention it like on your Instagram stories and things, your reels. So yeah, I'm very impressed with that particular blower, the Cat version anyways. So,
oh yeah, it's very nice. Very nice. I still have some of my own testing to do though. Battery charging and run times and stuff like that.
Yeah. So you moved a brick with it, right? Something heavy.
Yeah.
I remember, seeing a post about
Yeah,
that.
similar to how Echo will demonstrate the PB9010 with the bricks set up, and this will blow bricks around too. Yeah, it's got a lot of power in it.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing for a handheld, battery powered, especially. All right. Yeah, hey everybody, appreciate everyone in the chat. Good to see y'all. I'm going to play this quick little clip from Crest.
Hey guys, welcome. This is Crest Robotics. This is our mission mower. What makes Mission and the Crest separate from everybody else is we provide easy installation. We have no boundary wires to install. Whenever we do our installations, this is how we install the mower. So what you're seeing here is called the pallet. This pallet will come off and it attaches to the mower or vice versa. So as we do, we download an app. We come in here. So this is what you would map out. This is how you set the parameters. You set your zones. You've got all your no-mow zones.
You walk all around your property with.
Yep, you're able to walk. You walk around the property.
And that remembers where it's at.
It sets its goal. Yep, it sets everything in boundary. 1 centimeter accuracy. 1 centimeter accuracy.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
The right wheel of this trolley is matches the right wheel of the mower. So you know, let's just say for instance, you want to come in here, you can get as tight as you want to get, and it's good. That's where the accuracy comes in. It's 2 blades, razor blades that are stacked on top of each other.
It's not just random patterns like.
It'll stripe. You can set the stripes left, north, south, east, west, 45, 145. Yeah, but like the really cool feature is that, you know, if I wanted to mow Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at a certain time, go in your calendar. Like say you got irrigation going, you don't want the mower mowing during irrigating, so you can set your parameters. You got a high traffic area, commercial, applications. You're going to go in and you're going to set it to mow early in the morning, or late in the afternoon, or even at night.
How long have these mowers been out?
So in Germany, the Crest brand has been around since 1966. We're heavily populated in the German UK industry, about 60% of the market. So we hope to be there with the United States here in the next year. So it's taken off pretty good.
So the dealers right now that sell Crest, they don't have them available?
Oh yeah, everything's available. Yeah, we're installing them today. Okay. They're ready right now.
Vince, I just noticed that I didn't fill in your name, so you're guest.
Oh, that's all right.
All right. Oh yeah. So I'm not always good at going back to the chat. So let me just jump in here a minute. So I did see Jeremy left a comment. I got to go back to it. Hey, Scott from Acme, thanks for stopping in. Jacqueline Abigail, appreciate it. Good to see you. Recky Spinhouse. All right, let me go back, Jeremy, to at least answer yours, and I'll look at some of the other comments. So you said your neighbor has a Toro battery push mower. Yeah, Toro has that. Oh, what do they call that? Some kind of a pace. It's a pace system that
Personal
they have.
pace.
What's that?
Personal pace.
Yeah, personal pace. Yeah,
Yep.
I've tried their gas version. I don't know like how their battery one. Have you tried one, Vince?
I have a Toro 60-volt mower, but it does not have the personal pace system. It's their basic 60-volt max mower. It was released, I think, 2 years ago. It's been okay. It's not. I would have preferred probably to have something like a personal pace system. I use my neighbor's Time Master, the gas-powered one with the personal pace. I really like that. Yeah, it is nice.
And I tried one. It was given to me, and it had a lot of hours on it, and it didn't start very easy. And I think it just was kind of at the end of its lifespan. So when I had it to try out, I just felt like I was struggling to make it work. Actually at the time I also had a Husqvarna one, and sometimes when you just get used to something, so the throttle is like my left hand, and just like you almost have to like retrain yourself like how to use something to make it work. And I guess I didn't really put the time in with the Toro, but yeah, it's interesting.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so it's interesting to hear your feedback. That's worked well for you.
Yeah, I used to have a John Deere push mower where it wasn't like a push down like the personal pace is, but it was more like you take the handles and you kind of push the handle like up, but a similar concept. You're kind of pushing into the mower, and your weight pushing into the mower is propelling it basically, like, and controlling that speed. Whereas like Honda or like the Echo mower have like a button that you gotta keep your hand on, and then there's a separate dial for speed control.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's a learning curve. Just I think you can train yourself how to maximize it, but sometimes when you get used to one thing, and the one other thing with some of the battery powered ones that I've tested, I've heard from an engineer that there's some struggle with battery powered when you let go of the speed control. That takes a minute for it to disengage. It disengages different than a gas does. So sometimes when you're trying to go forward and just quick let go and pull it back, you almost have to, as you're pushing it forward, let go like a half a step or one full step, keep going forward and then pull it back. So it's like, again, just kind of retraining.
Yeah, I know. I think we may have had that conversation once. Some of them are, not all of them are like that, but yeah, some of them are. You gotta the gears have to disengage from the drive control system, right, before you can pull back on the mower. Otherwise, the wheels will lock up. So you kind of got to give yourself, 2-3 seconds of time after disengaging the propelled system before you pull the mower back to turn it or something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the wheels lock up and you tear up some of the turf.
Yeah, one of the positives that I came off from that is if you were up on a steep hill and maybe it won't come back at you so fast. If it
it might lock up. It might lock up on you or slide back. It could slide too.
Yeah. I can't really, I'd have to demonstrate, but I just noticed when I was testing out on this hill that I have outside my house, I was thinking for some people it might be nice to not have it come rolling back so fast at them, depending on like what their mowing experience is. So that's one of the positives. So looking at this little clip right here, this is from your Instagram, a reel that you did. Was this one that did really well? There's a video you were telling me that did really well.
Yeah, I think this is the one this was like on Instagram. I think it got over 1 million views.
And that is
a fun one.
And what brand mower is that?
This is called the company is called Momotion.
Oh, that's right.
And the model is called the Luba all-wheel drive 5000. So
I think you showed that doing a little off-roading when you were like remote. Was that another video with this one?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. There's a lot you could do with it. I mean, it can mow slopes up to 75%, which
that's crazy.
Was crazy. And then it's the remote control feature of it, like the way it's got 4-wheel drive, the big wheels. Each wheel has its own motor in the wheel.
Oh, wow.
So it can really traverse over some rough terrain. So in my backyard, I had like a little bit of like what I called an off-road course where I took it around and just kind of playing with the remote control feature of the unit. It was almost like an RC car. But yeah, it's impressive. It's been really impressive. It's got the 4-wheel independent suspension as well. So it's really nice. It can go over bumps and can drop down into a small little pothole if you've got little holes in the yard. Like I have a dog and the dog is always digging up holes, right? So no problem. It'll navigate over all those holes. No problem.
Wow. That's great. So that's one of the questions that I have on here. So we'll just hit that right now since you're mentioning it. So how much do you have to adapt your lawn to the robot mower? So it sounds like this one, it can, well, when I was looking for this video clip right here, this one I remember because this was one where you showed it striping back and forth. And I don't know how long robot mowers have been able to do striping. It's always been like the Roomba doing these random patterns that I've known, but I haven't.
Correct.
Yeah. But I haven't really done a lot of heavy research on them. So that's, what I'm wondering, like when you're doing a little off-roading, do the blades shut off? So
so it goes back to the capabilities of the mower and what slope it can operate at, right? The tilt sensor, right? So there are some mowers out there that once it goes up on some of these more steeper slopes or bumps or hills or whatever, it will stop the blades. It'll trigger the tilt sensor. So this one is meant for a 75% slope, a little bit steeper.
That's crazy.
and it's not triggering any of those sensors. Actually, someone had asked me about that on one of my videos, and I did a follow-up video about it. It's yeah, it just keeps mowing.
What kind of price point is this one? Like, or a
Ooh,
couple of questions.
yeah,
Any
this.
idea the price and like how big it'll mow? The size right here.
Um, so I think pricing on these things have been fluctuating a lot. I think at the time when I was contacted about this mower, I think it was going for something like $2,500 or something like that. Like maybe a little bit more than that. Um, but yeah, that's about how much this particular model is going for, and that has to do with how much area it can mow. The different units. There's this one was the all-wheel drive version, and it was meant for mowing up to like you know 1 acre of land, right? Like if you had like an acre or so of land, it could mow all of that, right? And then they have smaller units that are meant for smaller properties.
So, how does like the setup on this? When we were looking at the Crest one,
So
that app looked like
this,
is a breeze. So, I'm just
yeah,
curious.
so this is an RTK setup. This is all through GPS. So you have I called it the Starship Enterprise. It's the main antenna that's communicating with the satellites. Now, how exactly it's communicating, I'm not too sure about that, but you have this RTK, which is a RTK unit, which I think stands for real time kinematic positioning, or hold on, yeah, yeah, something like that, RTK, real time kinematic positioning. It's like similar to like a GPS in a way, where it's constantly mapping where it is in reference to a known reference point, right? Which is the RTK like base station. So both the mower and the RTK unit are kind of like in constant contact with like the satellites, and so there's like on the back of the mower there's a big sticker that says "Don't put anything here" because this is where like the satellite thing is. Um, and then you have the RTK unit. Both really have to be open to the open sky. So that's one of the. We'll get into challenges, but just right off the bat, that's one of the challenges. The RTK, especially the main antenna, has to be in a clear open sky. You can't really have it under trees. You can't have it near like a building or anything like that. To get the best performance, you probably want to mount that up high, like off of your chimney or something like that, the highest point of your house. But I have mine off in a fenced area on one of the posts of the fence that's open to the sky, and I just run a really long extension cord out there to power it, and then and then I'm okay. The rest, I don't really have any other trees on my property, and the unit is never really gets stuck. There are some, let's call them dead zones, that it gets slow, right? It still mows, but you can see it slows down quite a bit. But once it gets past that area, it'll come around. So you have the RTK, you have the base station, that is where everything the mower will go to charge. And so it always knows where the base station is, and it always knows where the RTK unit is. And then that's really it. It's really those three components: the mower, the base station, and the RTK unit.
So does this one do different zones so you can program it similar to the Crest? So you can say, like, I want you to shut the blades off, drive over this path, and then start up again and do that zone?
Yep. So again, I guess with the different models, right? It's different price points. The bigger models, the more expensive models can do more zones. I think on the all-wheel drive 5000, I think it's up to 10 zones, I believe. And so I had one zone in the backyard, which is a much larger area, and then in the front yard, I have a small little sliver. That's one zone, and then there's the driveway, And then the main front yard, which is actually the video that you had up,
Mhm.
that's my main, lawn area. That's the third zone, and then the little grass strip between the road and the sidewalk is the fourth zone. And then what you do is you have these what are called virtual like bridges, right,
Oh
or
yeah.
pathways that you create to connect the zones together, right? So the mower knows when it's done with the zone, it goes back to its bridge to
Hmm.
then cross over to the next zone, and that's how it can find its way back to the base station, or you can tell it to mow zone 1 or zone 2, and it'll go and cross those bridges to then go and mow those zones.
What if, so my next question on here, so if you have a bigger yard, do you think there's ever a time where it's better to have 2 or 3 little mowers instead of one big one? Or you
So
think just one big one going should?
it it takes quite a bit of time for the mower to mow. So if you
Hmm.
don't mind, like say for instance, if you have guests over or something like that, and you don't mind this mower mowing in the background, right? Um, I mean, one, it's a little bit of a conversation starter when you have guests over and this mower's
Yeah.
going. But you can't just say, "Hey, I have guests coming over in an hour. Like, let me just have the mower just go ahead and mow." Right? Ideally, this thing would be mowing on a scheduled basis, like once every 2 or 3 days, very very frequently.
Mhm.
And it's only cutting off maybe like a quarter inch or a half inch of grass at a time, and it can mow in at night, overnight. You set it to mow, and then by morning, it's everything's mowed.
And it can handle
Um,
the like dew that's on the grass.
there are some limitations with that. I have experienced some issues where it would get clogged up underneath.
Hmm.
That has happened once, so you might want to be cognizant of that. But yes, it has mowed overnight when it's been okay, and hasn't had an issue with that. So. Um, I mean, it's up to how much money you have and how soon you want your lawn mowed, right? So
Hmm.
if you want to have 3 or 4 of these things running, you certainly can, and you can certainly zone them appropriately so that they're not mowing in each other's space.
Yeah.
Uh, and,
Yeah,
and then,
I would like to get one on my channel here at my house. It'd just be nice to go on vacation for like a week and come back and just have everything very nice. I want to go to the questions real quick. So, Jeremy, sorry I missed your question. So, let's see. I want to go back. So, is this? Make sure I'm getting your question, Jeremy. So, what's the difference between the residential push mower versus a commercial push mower? Um, well, price. I haven't actually I have a commercial zero turn mower, a couple different ones. So I've never officially run a commercial push mower, I should say. So I don't know, Vince, have you had, I don't know if you can speak to that anymore. I know like probably everything's like really heavy duty. The
yeah, I mean,
thickness
you
of the
have the
steel deck.
engines that are more commercial engines, and bigger, more horsepower, will last a much longer time, right? Where the residential engines aren't as robust. Um, and you pay the difference in the quality of the engines and stuff like that. Mower decks, thicker steel decks, that'll
Yeah.
last a long time and won't rust through.
Yeah.
Or a residential deck, if you were to use a residential mower for like commercial use, you might get a season out of it.
Hmm.
If you were mowing like multiple properties a day for every day, like maybe one season out of it, maybe two if you take really good care of it. But
Yeah.
that's why you have those commercial mowers that are built out of more of those robust materials, and that's why they cost
Yep.
some of them $10,000. Those new electric ones are even like $30,000 for those big commercial electric
Yeah.
mowers.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I wasn't sure, like, if you're looking for just a smaller, like a 21-inch commercial one. I know most people, if they're going to go to a push mower, probably would get, I'm not sure what the common size is, like 30-inch or so. And
I think 30-inch for a commercial walk
push mower.
behind.
Yeah. So I don't know, like battery powered, like where they're at. I haven't really been in the market. I know that this would have, if I would have been had my eye out for it at the Equip Expo, there's several people there that probably are showcasing stuff like that. But unfortunately, I'm not able to really. As far as the battery power goes, I do have a Milwaukee one, so that's built probably like more like a prosumer, I would say. I don't know. I think they are marketing towards commercial use. So it hasn't been out that long, so I guess that kind of remains to be seen. I want to hit this question. So Bradley was asking, how long can you drop it off of the property, then pick it up and go to the next? So I don't think
Are you talking about
the robotic mowers.
Oh, yeah. So
They're pretty much dedicated, right?
I'm not sure how the commercial in the commercial world, because there are companies with the big commercial mowers that are like automated mowers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly how those work, but on these smaller units like this one here that we had, this Momotion, like you have a whole like wired setup, like this RTK unit that's then programmed specifically for its location, right? And then the base, right? The base station that is then also like if I were to move that and then reset it up somewhere else, sure you could do that, but it's not really feasible.
Yeah.
It's not really meant. You can't just pick up and move. Now, one thing that I can say is on the Luba, for example, it does have a range of something like it was like a large amount of area. I forget what the radius was from the RTK unit. It was like something like 10 acres or something like that, or
Yeah, I heard that.
maybe it was even more than that. It was a very large area. So like if I wanted to, I could have it mow my neighbor's yard. I could have it mow the neighbors that are like, almost
Cul-de-sac.
a quarter mile down the street. Like
Yeah.
I can have it mow their yard if I wanted it to. I would just have to set up a zone and have it mow. Now there's a maximum of 10 zones, right? So I would only be able to create one or two. But again, it kind of comes back to that, is it really feasible to do that? Not for these kinds of mowers. Not these are more like the residential models that are really meant to just be on one property.
Yeah. I did spend some time last year at the Quip Expo visiting with someone that had I think it was like 40,000 for this 61-inch commercial zero-turn robotic mower. And what I understand, the technology last year was you would drive around and mow that lawn once, and then it would store in there like everything that you go around the pond, but that also has all kinds of sensors on it too. But I believe once you mow it once, or once you do the perimeter and then like the other things with it, it saves it, and then you can just drop it off there. Like for instance, I did residential lawn care for several years, and I had one customer that it took me with a commercial 61-inch mower, it took me 2 hours exactly to mow by myself. And I was saying, boy, it'd be so nice to have like another mower, like splitting the time with me. So if I had a bunch of customers like that, then it would be worth it. But the price point, yeah, like 40 or 50,000, you'd have to really start charging a lot more to pay for that and have it going 9-10 hours a day. So Jeremy is asking, let's see. Yeah, let me get back. So Nick, hey, thanks for joining us. I'll use my Honda and throw the stripes down. And Bradley, what about the small branches?
Oh, so in my backyard, in my backyard, I have a dog. I also have 2 kids, and we have trees from the neighbors, and there's branches, there's toys, there's my dog's business and everything like that. Yes, you have to go out there and you have to pick all that stuff up before this mower runs.
That's part of like the training of your. If you're going to adapt to this, from what I've heard somebody else say several years back, that there's like a training you have to adapt to how this works. But once you adapt to it and get those habits down, then like picking things up.
Yes, you have to make sure you pick all that stuff up. Now, with the Luba, it will sense a baseball. So if you sense like if there's a ball maybe the size of a baseball or larger, and you have it on the obstacle avoidance feature where it's using the sensors, not the bumpers, it will see it and it will stop and it will navigate around it. The same is true actually for tall grass. If the grass is too tall, the mower will think that it's an obstacle. If you have that feature turned on, you can turn
Okay.
that. You can before you mow or even a scheduled mow, you can have it use either the bumpers for sensing obstacles or the sensors. Um, so tall grass, it will mow around tall
Hmm.
grass.
So you might want to
So
keep a push mower around just for
yeah,
once in a
well,
while.
that's why you really gotta stay up on top of it. It's gotta mow frequently.
Mhm.
If you let it go for a week or so without mowing, the grass is just too tall to mow it back down. It's not really meant to cut grass. Every model's a little bit different. This one is not meant to cut grass any taller than 4 inches. So if it gets any taller than that, it's going to look terrible when it's mowed. It's going to leave really large clippings. It's
Mhm.
not a mulching mower. It is not going to mulch the clippings. So, it's just lopping off whatever's above 4 inches and leaving it there. So
Well, so you talked about mowing up to 4 inches. This is actually a question I thought of earlier. So what about in the Bermuda grass? They like to get it quite short. I reviewed
I've seen
the,
people. I've seen people build kits and they'll 3D print basically spacers and then retrofit these units so that they can mow very, very low,
like an inch or
um,
less, like some, yeah, we're
a half inch or lower.
wow.
Yeah,
So you'd have to have a
yeah. I wouldn't
really,
recommend. Yeah, you got to know what you're doing with the machine and everything like that. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but I know people who have done it and have done it successfully. So
huh,
but then you'll probably void the warranty on your unit and all that stuff too.
yeah. So just what, when it's like the stock unit, do you think it could go down to like an inch and a half? You think that's like,
I think the range on Luba was about I forget off the top of my head. Maybe it was about an inch or something like that.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bradley commented, so 21-inch commercial gas is 2,000. So yeah, that's yeah, I'm sure that's probably where they start and they just go up from there. Jeremy's wondering what's the difference between a handheld blower and a backpack blower. Um, one of the numbers that I've heard it mentioned several times, but I don't know enough to repeat it and speak on it well, is the way they rate it by the newtons, the Newton force. So I believe that's, so I'd be curious to see like what some numbers are when you're looking at, let's say like a 800 CFM handheld blower versus the 800 CFM backpack blower. There's just
Well,
probably a lot more
that comes
force.
down. Yeah, it's there's also the speed to consider, right? There's
Oh yeah,
the
miles per hour.
airflow, the volume, but then there's also the speed at which that air comes out, and those
Yeah.
two together are what really give you that force in newtons, right?
Yeah.
And then other things play into that too. It's the diameter of the tube, the length of the tube, things like that.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Crest blower actually has I know we're talking blowers here, but the Crest blower has the nozzle that can be extended forward, and that uses Bernoulli's principle to pull more air in to give you more airflow, right? It's a neat
Huh.
concept.
Yeah. In like
And
heating and
then
cooling, they taper it down when the main run gets longer. As they taper it down, it builds up the speed
yeah,
for like a long heat run in your house.
right.
If
Yep.
you ever done
Exactly.
mechanical work, I've helped a guy put a furnace ductwork in my house, and he explained it 20 some years ago. But let's see. Do you have to buy a regular mower if you have a robotic? I was probably just kind of saying like, yeah, maybe if you're really like not paying attention. But what I'm wondering, that's a good question, Jeremy. If you have a really thick lawn in the spring and it's just growing like crazy, Will the robotic mower keep up on it?
You can set it to mow every day. You could certainly do that. You can change the schedule whenever you want. It
So if you,
may, depending on the size of your lawn, like for my area, like 10,000 square feet, if you, it prefers to do a double cut, and you can change it. You can have it do a single cut, but it prefers to cut north and west, let's say, in one pass, and then on the second pass it'll cut east and west, right? And then at the end it'll do a perimeter mow, and then it'll go back to the home base in charge, right? That for my lawn takes like 5 hours to do, right? It can take a long time to do all that. Now I can tell it to just cut. If I'm going to mow every single day, I could just have it cut in one direction, right? Just cut north and south, right? And if I wanted to do a perimeter cleanup mow, I can have it do that too. You can tell it how many laps you want it to do, and then you can get that timing down to maybe 2 hours or 2.5 hours or something like that. And you can have it do that every single day if you wanted to. It'll keep up. Yeah, if you got it set up like that, and you're staying on top of any other debris or obstacles like leaves and, well, not really leaves, but like sticks and stuff like that, or toys or any other things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could certainly keep up with that. But it will not edge for you. Like, so you're still going to have to get out there and clean up some edges if you really like that nice crisp look along like the sidewalks and the driveways and things like that. You're still going to get out there and maybe string trim or use an edger. You're going to have to blow all those clippings off and stuff if they fall onto the sidewalk. Will it replace a mower completely? You know, if there's downtime on the mower, if you're troubleshooting something, and it's down for like a week, for example, and you need to make up a few mowings, you'll probably have to use a push mower to clean that up. So
yeah, that brings up a good point. So like the customer service question that I put on there. So do you anticipate having issues with the mower where you're going to have customer service, let's say like 3 or 4 months after using it, once you get it all programmed? Or you think once you get it going, are you pretty much like good to go?
I haven't really had too many issues with this mower where I needed to like reach out to like a customer service support team. But I think that a lot of these companies that are coming out now that I'm working with, a lot of them are startups, and a lot of them are trying to flood the market. And I do think that they're putting out units that aren't quite ready and tested for the market. So some of them are trying to come out at a really, really cheap price, like, like under $1,000, $900, $800 for some of these units now that are going to start hitting the market. And I think that, there might be a need for some customer service support there, because they're not quite ready for the market.
Yeah.
I have a prototype right now where, there's some issues with it, right? And I think they're trying to push it out to the market.
Yeah. I experienced something like that. I first started my channel, or I just kind of sporadically made videos here and there. And then I started getting a little bit more serious and got a drone for my channel. Started focusing more on tool reviews and outdoor power equipment, things like that. And I got a really nice DJI Mavic Pro drone. Like when they first came out, it was very nice. And then there weren't that many drone companies, and somebody made this pocket drone, which like flies off your hand, this little square thing. It looks like a piece of toast. And the people were so like enamored with the technology that you have this little pocket drone, but the customer service was horrible. A friend lent it to me for like a week. I made some reviews on it, and I had so many people saying like they couldn't get theirs to work, and they tried customer service. And I think that was just an example of like one company trying to hurry up and get in the market, in the drone market, and they ended up just too many complaints kind of made them sink. So I don't know. Maybe they've eventually made a drone that worked, but I I did everything I could do to make it fly, and it would just end up like flying away, bouncing into walls and stuff. So yeah. Yeah, Jeremy's asking. Oh yeah, Bradley's CFM and miles per hour, just like Vince said. Yeah, those are some big factors. Is Crest going to make gas mowers and trimmers and blowers? I'm going to say if they're following suit, like Honda, for instance, stopped making maybe they have already stopped or they're going to stop making gas engines for push mowers. I heard that last year at Equip, but I didn't really follow up on that. So I would doubt that I think more people are expanding into the battery. I don't know. Do you see that, Vince? Or
Hey, when you go to Equip, I mean, that's what you see. Everything is battery powered.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there is a huge push there, both not just residential, but commercial push too. And a lot of it's driven by regulation, right? So a lot of those companies are making the big push to go battery powered. I think Crest may be one of the ones on top in terms of their technology with the DC to DC battery charging that can give you like 8-minute battery charge times.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah. But it all comes out of price too. So
yeah, I've also talked. So even like California adopting battery powered, even just some places in urban areas like that have lawns on top of like some really tall buildings, they can't bring gas powered in these elevators to go up to the top floor to the roof to mow. They have to bring battery powered. So I know that's a big thing. They don't want something catching fire. Yeah, Nick. So you're saying every other day that you've cut. I actually had a client. He said like the very first time I met him and looked at it, his lawn, he fertilized so much, the lawn was so thick. He said like every 5 days, plan on mowing, sometimes 4. And there's times I showed up like 4 days later when the grass is in the really like mid-spring, and it just grew like like wildfire. Just in 4 days, I couldn't believe, like you would think when you come back, they wouldn't grow that much. But I guess when you're talking, Vince, I can see like some of those experiences I've had, I would probably set it for every day for a little while if I had that type of situation.
Hey, you're not the one mowing, right? It's the robot doing all of it. So no harm in having it just work every single day.
Yep. Yeah. And Jeremy's also asking what states are they banning gas lawnmowers and trimmers? Other than California, I haven't really been in the loop on that. I haven't been in those conversations.
I'm hearing there's a push for it in like Rhode Island and Colorado.
I did hear Colorado.
Yeah. And then also in general, there are local like municipalities, like the company that I work for, we have a subsidiary which maintains a lot of green stormwater practices like rain gardens and stuff like that. We do a lot of work down in the DC area. A lot of the issue down there is not so much from a pollution perspective, but just a noise issue, right? They just don't. So there's like noise ordinances that ban the use of some of the gas powered equipment that just makes too much noise. So blowers, for example.
Yeah, like some communities, I've heard people that do lawn care, that community has their own, like their HOA will say like what they can and can't have as far as noise and things like that. Right. Did we cover everything on? Let's see. Oh yeah. So let's just quick look at some prices from Crest, and let's see how I can make this transition. All right. I like when things work. So here's just some. Oops. All right. So they have, I think, 4 or 5 different mowers. So like up to 0.7 acres. Their Mission, $32.99. Up to 1.2 acres. So what size, Vince, would you go with? What would be like your lawn?
I need my space is 0.38, so I guess if the point 0.7 is on their smaller side there, that's what I would go for.
Yeah, but then they say that's the maximum 0.7, recommended 0.5. So they,
I would be good. I would be within that range.
okay.
I'm at 0.38.
Oh, 0.3.
So
Okay. All right. So yeah, that would work. So yeah, where I'm at, I'm the actual mowing. I did actually stop mowing the back field that I have, part of it, but I would like to, if I did get a robot mower, maybe I would consider like knocking it down and working it down and getting everything really vacuumed up so I could get a robot mower again. So I would probably end up having about 4.2 acres, I'd say. So yeah, for me, yeah, 10,799. So yeah, well, that'd be a recommended 3 acres. So that might be, yeah, I'd probably have to jump to the, yeah, 13, 8.
Man, they get expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and correction, my lot size is 0.38. That's not my mowing area. So
Yeah.
my mowing area is only like 10,000 square feet.
Oh, okay.
So I just need the little guy for sure.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I just wanted to hit on that real quick, and then let's see. Oh yeah, I'll go to this one. All right. So I think did we get through all the questions? Yeah, it's Jeremy mentioned he likes mowing his lawn at his house. Yeah, I definitely enjoy mowing too. Sometimes when life gets really busy, there are some times where just lately with the family and different things going on, it would be really nice to just like go on vacation. Like there's different times when I have gone on vacation, I have it's just a lot of work, and it'd be nice to just come home, or like before I leave for vacation, when I come home, it's just, all ready, all done. I'd just be, so yeah, I definitely wouldn't mind having one just for that type of purpose. So how's it?
Yeah, I love mowing the lawn. So robotic mowing will not replace the regular mowing for me. I'm more using it to showcase it and feature it on the channel and let people know what's out there for them. The Luba mower that I have, it doesn't mow every day for me. I'm mowing the backyard back there most times, and it's, even though I have it set up and stuff, and I have a couple others that I'm going to be testing out. They're not going to replace my everyday mowing. Not for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's satisfying feeling when you just go out and, I've heard some people just recently, I was reading a comment. Somebody said, oh, like they do their best thinking when they're out there because you're paying attention, but you don't have to think like too hard when you're doing it. But I mean, you do have to focus on what you're doing, but not too crazy. And then it kind of frees you up to like think through like some problems or just, everyday stuff, that organizing your life a little bit, taking that time away from your screens and all that, which, I think it could be handy. So I just had some notes, just seeing if I had any other things. Vince, is there anything that after us talking that you want to share, anything you can think of that we may have missed on that you're going to leave a comment?
No, I think we've covered everything, Mark. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I was thinking this would be about 30 minutes, and not even sure like how long it's been, but I'm sure we're way over 30 minutes. When I'm by myself, it's usually like 20 some minutes. So yeah, that was great. I definitely appreciate all your answers and joining me and all that. Oh shoot. Jerry, I missed one of Jeremy's questions. Let me go back to that real quick before we wrap up. Okay. Oh, who mows the lawns in house? HOAS?
HOAs.
Oh, sorry.
HOAs.
Oh. I would say, I mean, it depends on, I don't know how HOAs work. I've never lived in one. I mean, I've worked around them, but I don't know if probably anybody that comes in, I don't know if any of them are real strict where they have an approved list where you like you have to work with like certain people, or like you can't like bring somebody in?
Yeah, no, it's every HOA is a little bit different. My brother-in-law, he lives in an HOA, but they don't do the lawn care stuff. So every homeowner mows their own lawn. And then you have the HOAs that basically do everything. They'll do snow removal. They'll do the mowing and the general landscaping of the trees and the bushes around your house, right?
Yeah.
The full services, right? And
So everything is
you know, you-
completely consistent and very like to the nines.
and that's why those HOA fees on a per month basis are way higher.
Yeah.
Some of them into the thousands of dollars
Wow.
per month for the HOA fees.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe my brother-in-law maybe only pays a couple $100 a month,
Hmm.
and that just those HOA fees go to like maintaining community space, like a lake or something like that, or a clubhouse, right?
Yeah.
One thing that the whole HOA has. But other than that, it's different all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jeremy, hopefully that answers your questions. Okay. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, this has been great. I really appreciate it. I'm not sure when I'm going live next. So if anybody watching this or was watching later, put some comments down below. Vince, I'm sure you probably join me again, won't you?
Yeah, of course. Anytime, Mark.
All right.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yep. And yeah, if you can see, let's see. Yeah, right down there, you're Oakley approved. So he's my dog that is always like when I'm outside doing tour reviews, he seems to photobomb that. So if anybody has seen that Oakley approved anywhere, that's the story behind that. So he approves a lot of the things. So yeah, this has been great. Okay, friends. Well, that is it for now. Vince, thanks again. And we will see you next time. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.